So in the end, the fastest way to heal or awaken or work through whatever it is that's trapped in your nervous system that's making you suffer and struggle is to truly see that there isn't an enemy anywhere, and there never was. And even as we go along this path, we can start to kind of form what the enemy is in ways that might be helpful for a while. So what that often looks like is seeing that resistance is the enemy, right? That the mind does that, right? It's like, oh, resistance is the enemy, or thoughts are the enemy, or negative thoughts are the enemy, or the mind itself is the enemy, or the ego is the enemy, or my inauthentic self is the enemy. This or that, right? Others, whatever it is. But the true healing, the deepest realization that heals everything, and you work your way up towards this, is there's no enemy anywhere, ever. It's all unconditional love appearing in maybe a distorted energy form, right? But it's all unconditional love. Your resistance, your fear isn't the enemy. Fear is innocent. Resistance is innocent. Trauma is innocent. Doubt is innocent, right? Doubt feels like an enemy, right? Doubt feels fucking brutal. Honestly, I've been there. Doubt still comes up for me. In fact, it's been a flavor that I've been really getting to explore recently. But it's not your enemy. That's unconditional love as well. That's innocence. That's pure innocence in itself. Doubt. Resistance is pure innocence in itself. What is it? What is happening? Self-hatred is pure unconditional love. What is happening in your experience when you're trying to look after yourself, when you're trying to resist life, when you're afraid, when you're trying to avoid things, whatever it is, right? It's something trying to protect you. The fear is trying to protect you. The self-hatred is even trying to protect you. The doubt is trying to protect you. The resistance, again, it's distorted though, in the sense that it's not allowing energy to flow the way it needs to in your life. It's not allowing you to express the way you want to. Even that's a slight misconception, to put it like that it's not allowing that, because all you have to do is meet it with openness and meet it like the way that unconditional love meets everything. So that's why I often say the idea of healing creates a subtle belief of what needs to be healed. And it's fine. As I said, all of these things can like, there's a term like you use a thorn to remove a thorn. You use a concept to break down a concept. But eventually, and not only eventually, this perspective can be helpful at all points of your journey. But at some point, and it clarifies and it clarifies and clarifies by continuing to see the innocence in everything, right? Every bad pattern that you have, everything you need to fix about yourself, every emotion that you've been trying to run from your entire life, right? Your depression, your anxiety, your guilt, your shame, your embarrassment, your whatever it was, your childhood trauma, your maladaptive trauma response mechanisms, right? So you had childhood trauma, and then that leads to you rejecting this, rejecting that, shutting down here, shutting down there, whatever, externally projecting onto others. All of that is just love trying to protect itself in the only way that it knows how in that moment, from what it learned, from what it went through, from what it experienced, right, in your journey. So what do we do with this understanding, right? How does this change your physical experience? Because cool, Kyle's sharing a bunch of concepts. What the fuck does that do about anything, right? And this is important. I get that. That's all I want to talk about in the end, is what can you actually use? What can you actually apply? And this might sound frustrating, But it's really simple. Always. Simplicity is the only principle I always want to come back to, because everything feels so complicated when we're living in distorted belief systems, in distorted energies. It feels complex, complicated, distorted. But it's all just innocent. So to come back, what can you do about it? Just understand it. Understand where it's coming from. Meet it. Say, I get you. I understand you. My fear, I get you. You're not the enemy. Yes, resistance to the fear, I get you. I hear you. You're not the enemy. You can do this endlessly. That's what unconditional love is. It heals everything. But it meets everything. Because again, it heals, again, always a fucking loaded word. It heals everything by holding space for it. This is what I do, right? Because it worked in me, and then I can share that with others, like in one-on-ones and group sessions. It's holding space. And the space holding is not limited, but we will hit the capacities and the belief systems and everything that says there's a limit on how much space can be held. But unconditional love is infinite. It's unconditional. It is the true nature of everything. It's the true nature of you. It's the true nature of me. It's the true nature of fear. It's the true nature of war, violence, hatred. It's all unconditional love. Some of it is just really distorted energy that starts to kind of play out in maladaptive ways and, projects all its trauma externally. And that's when people, do horrific things and stuff. But again, this is a hard truth to accept for people that want to project it outwardly. And I get that. I get that truly. But there is nothing that isn't unconditional love. There is no external evil force in the end. So just relax. And again, it's all valid. Your response to what I'm saying is valid. That there's no one that's bad. That's valid, right? Your anger at the system is valid. It doesn't mean you have to go along with everything, but it's just seeing the endless innocence of everything. And then healing happens on its own. But the mind might perceive it as healing is not happening because now I'm meeting something that I don't want to meet. So then we meet resistance. And then we meet the thought. But don't make the thought the enemy. The thought's not the enemy. Your doubt's not the enemy. And sometimes you're going to go through murky periods where you will just be consumed by resistance. And you'll act it out, maybe. I've been there. You get to know at a deeper and deeper levels. You get to know, why do we want to resist? You explore it, the textures of resistance, because there's nothing else to do eventually. Angelo Delillo said this once, and it's goddamn true. There's nothing else to do eventually, but just to really explore the mechanics of suffering through exploring it through like a deeper and deeper lens. And then this becomes your gift to yourself and everything, because nothing's a part of you. So it's your gift to yourself to be a gift to the external reality and the external collective. So there's no bad you. There's no unhealed you. There's no fucked up part of you that no one can ever see. Because that is literally just unconditional love in some very contracted, compressed form. But meets it, and it opens itself back up into unconditional love. And you have to be endlessly willing to see all the different ways that you can formulate yourself as. And you can still honor your human nervous system, your individual form that it needs. It's doesn't have to hang out with, the most triggering energies and people that you don't want to hang out with, just because you see it's all you. You don't have to. But you just see it's always a reflection of the internal dynamics of what we don't want to meet within ourselves. We will push on externally. And at the same time, you can still live what feels natural and authentic to you, right? What you came here to express, what you came here to do. And this comes online naturally through meeting everything. Because authenticity is your natural state. So by meeting everything, and if something comes up that's not authentic, then that's just something else that needs to be met. It's like, here's another distorted version of myself. And the word distortion, for me, it's the word that is the most accurate to describe this nowadays, because it's not wrong, the energy. It's just distorted, right? It's just murky. It's just not clear. It's just not completely genuine. It's distorted. It's not some external bad, your symptom or your emotion or your fear or whatever it is. It's not some external bad thing. It's just distorted. It's just energy that's not clear. And that's how things can play out, where people project trauma onto each other because they're acting from a place of distortion. It's innocent, right? Because that's their own trauma that they got from somebody else, and that's their own trauma that they got from somebody else. And then, you come into form as a fresh new being. You're open, your system's wide open, and then you just absorb all the trauma before you, because you're unconditional love when you incarnate. You come in and you're like, wow, you just take in everything from your parents. There's probably like karmic stuff that you come in with as well, but the closest form of unconditional love is a newborn child. So you absorb it all, and then how do you break the cycle? Right? This is this realization that I came to. It's like, I don't want to ever pass this on. Right? I don't want to have a child and act out my own trauma on the child. It's like the cycle ends here with me. It's done. It's done. This is not. I'm not passing the back on. Right? And that's it's a big thing to do. But you do it, then you're going to see everything. Because it all plays out through unconsciousness. It plays out through unconsciousness, right? I can only pass on trauma because I'm unconscious to what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm a perfect being. I'm saying that's the mechanism of how it works, right? If I can, act out badly onto somebody else, it doesn't mean you can't, have your natural human reactions. You don't need to be a perfect being. But when we respond from a space that is unconsciously hurting somebody else, it's because we kept something hidden from ourselves. So if you want to change this generational trauma system, you can do your part by being willing. That's the other word. What was the other word? Distortion that I spoke about earlier. Willingness is it's another foundation, right? Authenticity is what I spoke about recently, but willingness is all that matters. It's the true energy of anything, right? Any practice that you're doing, like, again, I don't feel like mentioning it in every single video, like meditation, inquiry, energy healing, like in psychology, you get the gist of it, right? Willingness is what brings fruit to your work. right? To your healing work, your healing modality, your awakening, your truth, your self-development, whatever it is, right? I'm not judging you. I'm just saying the words don't matter, because everyone's going to call their story something else. But the truth is willingness. Are you willing to go there, to see your shadow, to work through it, to let it go? And then when you let it go, you also have to allow yourself to let the joy in. This is a reminder for myself often, right? I love exploring the shadow. It's an important part of the journey to work through the shadow. Like, what am I not seeing about myself? What unconsciousness am I not seeing here? What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? Show me everything about Kyle that's unconscious. Show me, show me, show me. But poor Kyle. Because sometimes he needs to just let the joy in as well and be like, hey, okay, cool, yeah, see all the shadows, see all your traps, see all your trauma, blah, 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 blah. But let the joy in as well, right? Sometimes just have a glass of wine by the fireplace, go for a walk in nature. But so this is the seriousness side of things that I've spoken about in previous videos as well. That the shadow work can get fucking serious. And I did this in my last 1 month container. I could feel the energy was getting too serious. So we shifted into like more of this lightness, this receiving. Let the joy in, let the love in, let the pleasure in. There's guilt around feeling pleasure, enjoyment. I'm going off on all sorts of tangents here because I'm just letting it fly. But it's so interesting, the conditioning around pleasure and joy. Like, we're afraid of being seen to have pleasure because there's this strong conditioning that we're not allowed to, right? Like when I eat food on my own, I can really just like drop into it. It's like a tantric experience. Like I shared this with someone. I can just eat and enjoy the experience of eating the food. But when we're around others, there's shame that comes up. It's like, I can't let that be seen. And it's partly a reflection of what others are not allowing through themselves and all of that. But there's just a point that I wanted to make, is that let the joy in, that's a big part of healing as well. So just to see everything's innocent, right? It's not so serious. Go and do what you want to do. And face what you have to face. Like they're not, it's not one or the other. The shadow work will play out and it will come meet you. And my recent videos have been about that, right? It's just me showing up in that space and hey, like, look, this is what it looks like when you really hit deep shadow. And then at the same time, you're going to have moments where you realize, hey, wait, I can lighten up the load here, but I don't need to stay in that place of deep shadow. But sometimes it meets you. So that's okay too. It's not a bad thing if you're in that space. That's the balance that I want to transmit here, is that the joy is allowed, the love is allowed, the pleasure is allowed. Let it in. Let yourself have a taste of it. At the same time, when you are in the shadow, that's okay. That's the other side of spirituality, or healing, or manifestation, or all of that. Is like, don't go into the darkness. Fight the darkness. But the darkness, right? The darkness, the shadow stays kind of looming over you because you're fighting it. But when you just surrender it and be like, okay, I've got all my darkness, I've got all my fucked upness, I've got all my unconsciousness, and I'll see it. I'm not going to be afraid of it. I'll see it. I'll meet it. But it's not one or the other. You can see it, you can meet it, and then you can meet your lighter, joyful, playful side as well. And then you dance, right? They dance. Everything's a dance in the end. Masculine and feminine. Darkness and lightness. Pain and pleasure. They don't need to be separate. It's this infinite dance of reality exploring itself through you in any way that it can express. What is this like? What is that like? What is it like to feel completely and utterly abandoned? What is it like to feel completely and utterly in love? What is it like to feel completely and utterly lost? What does it like to feel completely and utterly held? But if you resist one, that one is better than the other, that being found is better than being lost, then we create suffering. But if you see it all, it's just expressions of unconditional love, then you're fine. And I know that doesn't just shift everything like that, but it does change over time. Trust me, I didn't know this shit, like, you know, always. Like a part of you always knows it. But you realize it through your own direct experience, your own life, your own relationships, your own challenges, your own authenticity, your own expression, all of that. So, yeah, that's what I got for you today. I've also got a new 1 month container starting on the 30th of June. I'll probably make another video announcing it separately, but if you're interested, go check it out on my website. The spaces generally fill up quite quickly, and I'll make a separate video announcing it, but go have a look, and we'll dive into all of this in the container. Alrighty.